Welcome back to Susan Lynn's Psychic Medium. Thank you for joining me today. It's good to see you. I want to talk about politics today, but I do want to preface this by saying if you're enjoying this video, please subscribe to my channel. We're trying to grow our community here, and I am a little different than some of the other readers in the sense that I get my messages straight from my guides as I'm talking to you. I love tarot. That's just not my thing. So I'm a little different. I want to explain that on the front end too. The guides are talking to me right now. So I'm basically going to translate what they're saying from them to you. So thanks for joining again. All right. Here's the thing. Yesterday, Cy Vance announced through this weird back channel that he will not be seeking re-election at the end of his term, which I believe is 10 months or so away. So, of course, we all want to know why, right? Of course, Cy Vance is investigating Donald Trump, has been investigating Donald Trump. Why all of a sudden would he say, well, I'm going to go spend more time with my family, right? So I asked my guides, and then a lot of things started coming in as usual. And you know what? I'm not one of those people that watches those crime movies like Ocean's 11 where, I mean, they're kind of cool, right? But where there's double cross, triple cross, and then, you know, suspense, right? It's basically suspense. Who is going to double cross, triple cross who? What's going to be the end game? In the end, do we find it all out? That's where we are. In the last video that I talked about politics in, I talked about how there was a net. My guides show me a big net, and they show me the net closing, and they show me basically, you know, cheek to jowl, and you know, like butt cheek to jowl, all these people like Trump and Roger and Flynn and Roger Stone and Rudy Giuliani and Don Jr. and all of these people in this net, and the net gets tighter and tighter and tighter. Okay. Imagine that, picture that. That's what's happening. The net is getting tighter. Now we have Merrick Garland, right? He's the new AG. He's going to be very purposeful, they show me him being detailed. They show me him not listening to the news, not talking to anybody, being very sequestered and looking at papers, looking at documents, meeting with his team. Very purposeful, very much the kind of man that would leave no stone unturned. Now, what that means is that he's going to take his time, right? That's the other thing they're showing me. He's not going to be politically influenced to the degree that Biden or anybody else could say, dude, we need you to get on this, and we need an indictment by this fall. You know, I want an indictment by October, right? Or whatever. That's not him. That's not him. He's not going to listen to anybody. He's completely neutral and sequestered from any political interference. And if you tried to interfere with him politically, he would quit. So that's Merrick Garland, okay? He's very scholarly, very studious. That's what they're showing me, okay? So that's good. However, what's happening on the other side of the curtain, right? So you have Merrick Garland on this side, and on the other side, what you have are all these people that look like cockroaches, but they're all these people that know what Merrick Garland has access to, because what I need to tell you is there are plants everywhere. And when I say plant, I'm not talking about an ivy. I'm talking about a person who is a double agent, if you will. Maybe they're a Democrat. Maybe they're actually reporting to the mob. And I want to say also at this time that this video is for entertainment purposes only. I'll explain that hopefully at the end of the video. But we all know, let's be honest here, we all know that Trump has been infiltrated by the Russian mob. We all know that the Russian mob literally owns the shirt on their back many congresspeople and senators. Okay? That is a known fact. Not debatable. So, what we don't know is that a few of the this is all coming to me right now. Okay, it's not at all. I have no idea what I'm going to talk to you about when I get on these videos. They just say, do a video, and here I am. So what we don't know is that some of these civil service employees, okay, that may be in an administration or in a department, okay, they are plants. They are there to supply information, and those plants are everywhere. They show me pins. If you take a map of the United States and then also overlap a map of the government, so government departments, government offices, whatever, pins everywhere, They've infiltrated a big portion of our government on every level. That's news to me. And I probably should preface this whole video with, this is going to be a shocking video, and don't watch it if you don't want to be flipped out. That's all news to me. But what they're showing me is that right now, those pins on that map, all those people who are plants, all those people who are under the control of the Russian mob, either through coercion, meaning that they didn't want to be, but they were made to be by threats, either violent or whatever, or under control of them through their own greed. Here's some making it rain, here's some money, right? Here's whatever you're into, if you want a prostitution, if you want another, whatever little thing you're into, we can supply that for you. What are you into? Right? And then we have you. Once you take the bait, you're hooked. Okay? So they're showing me this. So the reason they're showing me this is because as the net tightens, these operatives, they're operatives. Oh, they're operatives. They're not plants. They're operatives. These operatives will start, they will start, so there's a whole, I don't know anything about spies. I'm not a spy. I don't watch the movies. I don't, you know what I mean? I just don't. I think it's fascinating, but I think it's just too much for this brain to consider. So as the operatives start seeing the net tighten, they're given jobs, right? What are their jobs? Their jobs are to destroy evidence. Their jobs are to destroy evidence. Their jobs are to start taking out contacts. So for instance, basically they have to clean it up like they were never there, right? So you can't just, if you have a spy in Des Moines, Iowa, you can't just take the spy out because the spy had contacts, right? And the spy might have a golden parachute or not, meaning they may have the ability to go to Fiji or something, or maybe not. But what about all those contacts that they've been getting information from or maybe using, in some way? Those people have to be controlled. They can't go to the press. The whole point is of this, what they're telling me is there's going to be a lot of moving around, a lot of people cleaning up things, a lot of payouts going on, a lot of more coercion, more threats, more damage. Now, you're not going to see that. The American people are not likely to see that unless somebody like ProPublica or somebody that can really do these months-long investigations, and really have their journalists run down all these leads. We're not likely to see that. But why that matters to you is that as Merrick Garland starts his work, he doesn't even have to start. They already know more than he does, of course, right? Because they're the ones that committed the crimes. They know where all the stuff is. They know where all the bodies are buried, right? So those people will now start putting pressure on other people. So that's what you're going to see. You're going to see, at the very top, we have Trump, we have Weisselberg, we have, Don Jr., we have that, right? And then also at the top, we have people like Cy Vance and, Letitia James and, Mueller and Garland, okay? It's interesting to me that Cy Vance stepping down. That's as you probably feel the same way. That's a red flag. And that's because of these pressures that are coming to bear on the various players. Okay. So what can we expect to see? Or why is Cy Vance stepping down? So when I asked my guides, my spirit guides, they said he's being pressured. They said he's being pressured. Okay, so when I asked, who is he being pressured by? Is he being pressured by the Russians? No, he's not being pressured by the Russians. Is he being pressured by the Republicans? Yes, I get a yes. Is he being pressured by the Democrats? I get a no. That's interesting. So the other thing that's happening is that, and I think this has been proven, and I think the information is out there, but I don't think it's common knowledge. And that is that because of the nature of the Q nuts, and then also some of these Republicans, a lot of threats are being made, a lot of death threats, a lot of threats to family. Well, we know this, right? Because we know that Nancy Pelosi, we know that other people have been threatened in their hometowns at their houses, right? We know that they busted up that ring that was going to, I think, abduct the Michigan governor, right? So we know this. But what you don't really know is it really has an impact, right? It really has an impact. Marjorie Taylor Greene in Georgia, the guy that was running against her, had to leave Georgia. His wife divorced him, and he had to leave Georgia and go back and live with his parents because of the death threats and the hate that came on him. And his wife was like, I'm not living this life, right? So because of that, Marjorie Taylor Greene won her congressional seat because the Democrat bowed out. He was like, where am I? Am I in a Mexican cartel? Am I in Iraq? What's the deal? Why am I getting death threats? Why does my wife feel unsafe? Why do my kids feel, this is ridiculous, right? So this is where we are. So when I feel like Cy Vance, what I feel like with Cy Vance is he won't go far enough. He's tiptoeing around the evidence. And he knows that the Mueller report and Garland are going to make him do something. He knows that the evidence is now going to become so egregious, so, in your face, that he's going to have to do something. He's going to have to make charges. He's going to have to do something. And I feel like he just won't go there. I feel like he's good with, it almost feels like he's dragging the investigation, like he's slowing it down. That's what it feels like to me. Like there's evidence that Cy Vance has not worked as hard or as diligently or as purposefully as he could have worked. And therefore, people started questioning Cy Vance. Like, well, what's going on here? Why aren't we further along with this investigation? Why didn't you go ahead and charge these people? What's the holdup? What's going on? People started questioning him, right? And he's like, I'm out. Now, is he getting death threats? I guarantee you he is. Because if a little guy in Georgia who was basically Mr. Nobody before he ran for that office, if he's getting death threats, then yes, Cy Vance is getting death threats. He probably gets death threats anyway. He's a big prosecutor, right? So, but is he getting threats? Is he getting threats that are big enough to cause him? Yeah, I mean, he's like, yes, okay. They're saying, look, it's not worth this. That's what Cy Vance is saying. It's not worth this. It's not worth it. Not doing it. So that's what's going on with Cy Vance. And they just showed me something very interesting that popped into my head yesterday, but it didn't make sense. They showed me how, we have these new amazing Black women that are coming on the scene in Congress and in the Senate and take, for instance, our vice president. These women, like Letitia James, they are not going to back down. Now, why not? why are they willing to take these threats and these big, powerful institutions and these frankly crazy people? Why are they ready to take them on? Why are they willing to take them on? Also, look at Stacey Abrams. They're willing to take them on because Black women were raised with threats. Black women were raised with the idea that they're going to get pulled over by a police and possibly not make it to the jail. They've dealt with this. This is not that unusual for them. It's just on a different scale. And they're pissed off about it, and they're going to fight. So look for more Black women to take these roles because they ain't scared. They ain't scared. They seen this, seen that, not scared. Okay, so that's fantastic. That's why we have Letitia James in there basically saying, I am going to fight this. It's my life's work. I'm going to do it. And I don't care what kind of threats. I don't care what you do. So now I need to talk about, I did a video a while back. I don't even know. They all run together. But I did a video a while back where the guides told me that Michael Cohen. So when I'm connected, I'm trying to hear what they're saying. Okay. So sometimes I get names wrong or things wrong. It's because I'm translating. But they told me Michael Cohen was in trouble. They told me this. I don't know. I think about 2 months ago. Another little pro tip with me and my guides in this video, in these videos that I do. When the guides say things out of my mouth, it's about 2 to 3 months. So you can go back and look at my 2 months ago videos, and if they're correct, because we all have free will, right? There's a little bit of wiggle room, but if what they predicted correct, it was going to be happening now. So as I'm telling you that 2 months ago, I felt like Michael Cohen was in trouble, I'm telling you now, I'm feeling a little bit of that energy, okay? And then we know that Michael Cohen he's been in to be giving depositions. That's the word, depositions. This is his 8th deposition, 8. And that's a lot. And I think that they're ramping it up because they're worried. They're worried that their witness is going to disappear. And I'm here to tell you that I think that the guides think that some people are going to disappear. Some people are going to disappear, and we're going to know they disappeared. They're going to go to other countries, which I think is fruitless. But some people are going to disappear. The way Jeffrey Epstein disappeared, right? So this is what's going to happen as the net gets tighter. Pressure's on. And believe me, what I'm telling you is the pressure on the outside is immense, and it's not just, it's very diffused. Their ability to do things, to put pressure on people and or to carry out acts of violence is diffused. It's everywhere. Little pins on a map. Okay. So you're not necessarily expecting Roger Stone to walk up and do something, right? That's not what's going to happen here. We have the Russian mob at work here. So various little people are going to start having problems, right? And the last thing I want to say too is they show me people in I keep calling it civil service, but the career people that work at these departments, whether it be the Department of Agriculture or the Department of Energy or whatever it is, Department of the Interior, whatever it is, you're going to see people retiring. You're going to see people just being like, oh, I'm going to retire now. So, and then initially what they're going to say is that they show me the headlines on the paper. Initially what they're going to say is the toll of the Trump years, or the Trump years have taken their toll and many civil servants are retiring. That's what's going to be the headline. That's not what's happening. Look, if you lasted 4 years of Trump and you're now in Biden, you're living your best life. You're not ready to retire. They're retiring because they're plants, because they're operatives, because they're or because they know that Jack over here or Sally over there is an operative and they went out. They're terrified. They know too much, but they don't know too much to not be able to leave. So they're going to leave. You're going to see people leaving the government. And these are little things that, you know, you may catch on the news, you may not, right? Because it's not like thousands of people are just going to walk off their job, but you're going to see an increase in the level of people leaving their jobs in the government because the pressure is too much. I'm telling you, it's a pressure cooker. Right now, I'm feeling pressure weirdly in the back of my back by my ribs. Really weird place to feel pressure, but it's like grabbing me. It's like somebody's grabbing me from the back, right? That's what it feels like. It feels like somebody grabbed me from the back where my ribs are and then grabbed and has me. And I can't run, right? I'm trying to run. I can't run. I can't move. I'm caught. Now, who's got me? What is that energy back there that's got me? It's not the feds. It's not the feds. The feds' energy shows me they would walk straight up to my face and arrest me. They'd have their badge. They would, you know what I mean, announce themselves, and they would arrest me. Back here, this is control. Somebody's got you in the back. They're controlling you from the back, from the rear, right? And from the back. You can't see that person, and they can move you. Go over here and do this. Talk to this person. Go over here and say this. Or they can grab you from the back and take you out. I'm telling you, burning right here on my ribs, like somebody's got me. So we're going to just get that energy off of me. Okay. So very interesting. So that's what I have to say about Cy Vance. We will, okay, I think this is what you guys want to know. Yes, we're going to listen. It doesn't matter anyway. It doesn't matter anyway. Man, oh, it does matter. It does matter because that makes me mad. Okay, so I think he's agreed. I think he's agreed to do some things, right? To have certain court cases go forward. He might even have a little win or something. You know what I mean? Like just to make it look normal. Everybody needs everything to look normal. And I'm going to tell you something right now. The Democrats need it to look normal. The Republicans need it to look normal. Because if you and I and Mary Jane and Chandra and everybody else in America found out that this place was as bad as it is, that we're infiltrated and that we can't count on elected officials to really be for the United States, they're afraid that our democracy would really be at risk and that there would be potential. They're actually showing me that if that happened, you and I would be like, that's messed up, and then we would go to work because we have bills to pay. We would say that's messed up and we'd go to work, right? But what they're showing me is then the militias, the Proud Boys, they would come in. They would come into your city, to your town, and make a play for your town because then they would say, now's the time to strike. The democracy is weak. And then they would force us, right? Then okay, imagine this. Both parties are basically proved to be, to some degree, unstable, especially the Republican Party. And our executive branch has been infiltrated, the judges, the Supreme Court, right? What has to happen? Then what? Who's the law? Where's the justice? It's all destabilized. So if the Proud Boys then show up in your hometown and say, we're taking over St. Louis, then who deals with that? What are we going to do? Biden would have to call in the military. We would literally have to have a police state. So that's why the Republicans and the Democrats are trying to keep this on the down low. Listen, you guys, this is not me. Don't complain to me. I believe me, I am way more different than what I'm telling you right now. I don't necessarily agree with it because I feel like that we're negotiating with our hostages. You know what I mean? I feel like we're negotiating with the enemy, and Susan's not like, I'm like a nice person, like, let's do this, please, let's do this, and then pretty much I'm going to hit you over the head. So I'm not the right person. So for what, be it good or bad, this is what's happening. And it's the same thing that's playing out that I talked about with Mitch McConnell. People are asking, well, why isn't, and again, I'm connected, so I can't think of any names. The lady that ran against Mitch McConnell, why can't she get put in if Mitch McConnell steps down? I mean, if Beshear's the governor and the governor gets to appoint, as it stands right now, unless they change the law within the Kentucky State Legislature, why doesn't he appoint her? Because she ran against Mitch and it was a very close race, which means that Kentuckians wanted her in, right? Well, I'm telling you right now, it's not popular, but I'm telling you right now that that's not what's going to happen. The guides are showing me that's not going to happen because she beat the pants off Mitch McConnell, and she's a woman, and, you know, she's got some other things that they don't like about her, and that's not going to happen. He's not going to let that happen. So what are we talking about here? We're talking about compromise. So Beshear, the governor of Kentucky, and Mitch McConnell will have to get together and come up with a new person that is a compromise. That is maybe a Republican, but who is a Republican who's very center, or maybe a Democrat who is a little bit to the right of some Democrats. That's the compromise, okay? It's the same thing that I'm talking about with the bigger picture, with the Democrats and Republicans saying we can't let everybody know how bad it is because we don't want to destabilize our country. Is it right or wrong? It doesn't matter. This is what they're doing. This is what the Democrats are doing. This is what the Republicans are doing. Within those confines, they have to be very careful about how far they let, or how much they let us all know. Now, that doesn't mean that the Democrats are not going to go after Trump. As I've said before, Trump is going down. E. Jean Carroll is bringing Trump down. I don't know why, but that's what they tell me. I mean, I know why, but I don't know why her, of all the charges the man has against him, she's going to be the one that really brings him down. I feel like it's fate. I feel like it's written. I feel like it's contract, spiritual contract. So Trump is going to go down. Actually, he's going to run away, and then he's going to come back, and then he's going to beg for forgiveness, and then he's going to have a health crisis, and then he's going to look like we should be nice to him or something because he's got this health crisis. It's very Bill Crosby, right? By the time they got Bill Crosby, he was old and decrepit and had health problems, and poor me. It's that whole energy. It's that whole energy. Now, who really is going to go down? Roger Stone's going back to prison. Rudy Giuliani, fall from grace, they just said. Like, where was his grace? I don't know. We'd have to go back and look with a microscope to find some, but I guess so. He basically, and they tell me they lose everything. They lose everything, okay? I know we all want justice. I want to see them in prison. I want to see them in jail. I want to see them in handcuffs. Not only handcuffs, because handcuffs imply that they could later get out of handcuffs, right? I want to see them in prison. That's what I want to see. And they're saying some will go to prison, but some won't. And we just have to accept that. The best thing that we can get out of this situation is to clean our government, find these operatives, root them out, get them out, sanitize. They just showed me NASA. Sanitize NASA. Sanitize our NSA. Sanitize the FBI, sanitize the CIA, sanitize the military. We need to sanitize, right? And that's not easy. When you sanitize a wound, it's painful, right? It's going to be painful. And it goes back to 10 videos ago where they talked about McCarthyism. They talked about McCarthyism for 3 videos straight, which is like reporting on your neighbor, right? But McCarthy used it for ill, but as many times with this energy, they take the lesson we were supposed to learn and they flip it. So with McCarthy, it was report your neighbor who may be a communist, right? Just because they're an artist, they're a communist, report them. Very much like the witch trials, right? That woman collects herbs and she made you mad, she's a witch, burn her. Same thing. Now it's McCarthyism because we're still reporting. And we're still reporting that this person isn't fitting into our society in the way that we want them to. So we're reporting on people who may have connections to Russia. This person is in the army, and I think I've seen them speaking Russian, or I've seen them, picking up materials from work that they shouldn't be, taking pictures of things they shouldn't be. as a citizen or as another army person, I'm going to report them. McCarthyism, but flipped. You guys got it? So I hope this video has given you some new perspectives. It certainly has given me some new perspectives. I mean, we're just not going to be able to expect much out of Cy Vance. Is he bought? Yes, to a degree. Is he threatened? Yes, to a degree. Basically, he's just saying, I didn't sign up for this. This is too much for me. Again, you guys, they have the vision that we don't have, right? Cy Vance has connections, and he's getting pictures of people with concrete shoes on being dumped into the Pacific. So he's like, oh, I don't want that to happen to me. I'm going to retire, right? So that's what's happening. The pressure as the net confines around these people, the pressure mounts also on the people putting the net on them, right? So we have pressure, 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 pressure. And who knows who's a double agent, a triple agent? Who knows who knows? It's going to be fascinating to watch this 20 years from now, for those people to look back. They're going to have this amazing hindsight to see all, or not all, but a lot more of the crossings and the double crossings and the triple crossings. It's going to be very fascinating. Anyway, thank you for spending time with me. I hope it makes sense. I still see that woman that ran against Mitch McConnell. They're still showing me her picture, but I can't, her name is not accessible at this time. That file is missing. The guides don't. Why is she important? Why are they bringing her back? She's going to fight. She's going to fight. She's going to fight for her seat. Oh, she's going to cause a problem. She's going to cause a problem because welcome to our whole next year, you guys. This is what I'm saying. The Democrats and Republicans are going to try to get together and just move the ball down the field. They're just going to try to progress. Right? How can we progress? Okay, if I have to throw over this woman who has a lot of support, then maybe I have to do that because Mitch McConnell, I'm trying to think of a word to describe him and I can't, that's, sayable, is blocking it. So what do we do, guys? I hope you guys can understand that it looks a lot easier on from the couch, but in reality, Bashir needs to get somebody to replace McConnell. That would be a coup, okay? Even if we got somebody who was a jerk Republican, it would still be better than Mitch McConnell. Do you understand what I'm saying to you? Is it justice? No. Is it fair? No. Is any of this fair? No. Is life fair? No. Do we deserve justice? Yes. And we're going to get it, but we're not going to get it exactly the way we want it. Okay, so that woman she must have just heard something today because her energy is all of a sudden all over my energy. Like she is mad. And I said this to myself. I'm sorry, I'm going to end this video. I said this to myself that I hope the Governor Bashir, who's a pretty damn good governor in Kentucky, I hope he doesn't go down because of this, because of his stance, because he's a really good governor. And what ends up happening is we throw out the baby with the bathwater, right? We don't realize that, look, we have to do what we can do. It's not a total sum game. It's not like you get everything or else. That's not the way it works, right? But if she starts fighting him, we might lose her and him and the whole damn thing. So we have to work together. We have to look at the long game. It's a long game. It's not just today. It's not this month. It's not this year. It's a long game, right? And if we can keep Bashir as governor and get somebody else in that the Republicans will let us get in, it's much better than Mitch McConnell changing the laws in Kentucky and then getting his own person in, whoever he wants, a little mini-me Mitch McConnell. So anyway, sorry. I had to get upset because her energy is like upset. So anyway. Whew. Okay. Thank you guys for joining me. I hope this was something entertaining, fascinating. I don't know, informative. I don't know. Anyway, it's good to see you. Thank you again, and we'll talk soon. This video is for entertainment purposes only.